What's going on, everyone? MikeO back. Have another PSA reveal for you. It's a 15 card order, 20-day service. Pretty nice stuff here. A lot of autos, a lot of rookies, a lot of modern stuff. Overall, did not fare as well as I usually do, or as well as I want it to. Out of 15 cards, there's going to be 5 9s, so that's not great for modern stuff. I think there's a couple reasons for that. One, I think I've not been as strict recently as I usually have been in the past. And secondly, I do think it was a tough grader. There were a couple other orders for other people that I'm not showing off in this video, and one didn't reach the minimum grade required, and the other two were 6 and 9s for newer cards, not quite as modern as a year or two, but I just think they were pretty tough, and let's just get into it. So we're going to start off with this really sweet Allen and Ginter autograph of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Acquired this from Jerome, Yankees Cards. Got a PSA Mint 9 on this. And hey, I was just happy to get it slabbed for the Allen and Ginter collection. I wasn't specifically worried about getting a 10, but the reason I sent it in is I believed it had a strong chance at a 10. I can't at this point remember specific things I saw on each individual card that may have given me pause. Overall, I just know this card looks great. Looks amazing in the slab. Guerrero has tons of talent and ability, and this is definitely a fine addition to the Ginter slab PC. The thing with PSA 9s that I can say is that PSA 9s are just fine if you're buying the card as a 9. I think if you're getting cards graded, you're certainly looking for a 10 if you're investing the time and looking into the cards and the money in getting the submission done. And that specifically goes with modern stuff. There's some older stuff that I send in I'd be thrilled with a 9. I look at this Cody Bellinger here, and I do remember seeing a little thing or two, but I definitely thought this was good enough to be a 10. And you look at it, and it's hard to see anything. There's going to be a little mark. They don't just toss 9s on stuff for no reason. But overall, I mean, the quality of this card, it's a mint card. It looks great overall. I guess this corner here has the slightest bit of white. But there's just little things. So if you're buying and you're looking to save money, I think a mint 9 can definitely be a way to go to save a good amount of money. But 10s are certainly what people, generally speaking, are looking for on these cards. I mean, I guess the edge here that might have been one of the things I was looking at, the slightest little indentation there. And that's what you have to look for in chrome cards, little scratches, dimples, and small little things. I mean, generally speaking, you're not going to see that unless you're really looking for it. But the price difference on a 9 and a 10 is pretty big. It's another 9 here. I didn't specifically see anything wrong with this one offhand. It's a sepia, Vlad Guerrero Jr. from Chrome. I mean, it's going to look great slabbed. And to me, when I looked this over again, I really didn't see much. So at this point, it's going to remain in the collection. I have no problem keeping it. But if I were to move it, I think someone would do really well picking up this card, because it might be a 9, but it's definitely a strong 9. It's one of those cards that if they had a grade in between, a 9.5, I think it would qualify for that. This card did really well. PSA Gem Mint 10 on the Pete Alonso action variation from 2019 Topps Heritage. I think there's a few more action variations this year. I don't think they're as tough as they used to be. I could be wrong on that, but generally speaking, the action variations are pretty collectible for rookies out of Heritage, so that's a pretty nice card there, getting the Gem 10 on Pete Alonso, the rookie home run champ. My favorite rookie of this year is Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm a big fan of the sepia refractors. I just think they look fantastic. Got a Gem Mint 10 on this. So a really nice card there. These cards, tough pulls. The negative refractors, they're far from my favorite. I don't know. I've never been a big fan. I think a black and white refractor would look awesome. I think a negative refractor is just, I don't know. I look at his face and I don't get it. I don't get the overall appeal, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that really like these cards. So PSA Gem Mint 10, that's definitely a strong card there. I want to say that I remember the Judge during his height was like around $100 card. I don't know what it's at now or what that card would fetch, but that's nice. Here's a sweet one here. The 2019 Finest Ronald Acuna Jr. Blue Chips Auto. Big fan of the Blue Chips subset, specifically the autograph version, and to get a 10 on the Acuna is really nice, so thrilled about that. Card looks great. It's another Mint 9. I think there might have been the lightest of surface scratches on this when I remember looking at it, and I've heard a lot of people talk about how they've had cards go through, and I know there's been times where I've seen instances of them being a little less strict on light surface scratches, but this one they did give it a 9. It's the green Wave Refractor to 99, Vlad Guerrero Jr. So, like I said, I think this grader is probably just a little more strict, which is probably the way I would be if I was grading. I am pretty strict on cards when I look at a 10. If I see a imperfection of any kind, that lends me to knock it down a bit, but I'm not working for PSA or anything, so that's kind of irrelevant, right? But I do think it helps me when I send stuff in. So I get a Gem Mint 10 on this Finest Refractor for Guerrero Jr. Big fan of the Finest Refractors and the Finest Autos. I actually think that's another great way if you're a player collector to save a little bit. The Finest stuff is much cheaper, generally speaking, than Chrome, and I think the sets are beautiful, so really nice card there. Is a second one that got a 10. Sent in a couple Alonsos from Topps Chrome. This one got a 9, and I was expecting to get at least 1 9 in all likelihood. This one had little issues, and I'd have to look at it a little closer to try and pick it out. But overall, it's a gorgeous card, and I think that's a strong 9. To me, when I did see the one, so there were 2 that I was very confident about, sent them in, and then I did send a third. At first, I wasn't going to, and then I kind of thought, well, if they're lenient, I do think some people give it a 10. Well, we got a strict guy, and he gave it a 9. But in all honesty, once these cards are slabbed up, unless there's some kind of major crease or a major defect, you're not going to see stuff. You're going to have a hard time seeing any kind of light surface issues. As you can see, just looking at this, between the light and the reflection in the room, these slabs, it's very difficult to critique a card properly through the slab. So cards are going to look pretty good once they're slabbed up, as long as they're pretty clean overall. Here's a Gem 10, Pete Alonso. And then the third one. So 2 of them I was very confident they would get 10s. So we're happy about those. And then at Eloy Jimenez, PSA Gem Mint 10. I'm a big fan of Jimenez. I think he's got tons of ability. Very overshadowed this year by some of the other rookies. I don't think he had a bad year either. He didn't blow everyone out of the water. He finished up very strong, though. And, I think if you're considered to have not a great rookie year, you hit over 30 homers, close to 90 RBIs, I think you're doing some stuff right. So Eloy, Gem 10 on that. And then the final card is a Juan Soto from 2019 Finest. It's Finest Origins, Orange Refractor, numbered to 25, PSA Gem Mint 10. So nice card there. So all modern stuff. Overall, pretty strong. 10 awesome cards that got 10s, 5 9s. And I'm all right with the 9s. That's going to happen. I would rather PSA do a very good and thorough job than just throw everything through. But we'll see. Overall, would have preferred to have a couple of those go my way towards a 10, but hey, it's going to happen. All right, comment below. Let me know what you think of this order from PSA, and I will talk to you next time. Have a great one.